Yo, what's up? Um, how you guys doing today? I want to thank everybody for you know, talking with me about sports, all that other good stuff. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Yo, I want to get into what I heard um, Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony was talking about. They were doing like a live video, a little breakdown, just talking about good old times. And Carmelo Anthony started a good debate today because he said if he was drafted by the Detroit Pistons, he would have had two championships or possibly three. Um, and Max Kellerman was hating on Carmelo Anthony as usual. But I gotta agree with Carmelo Anthony. I don't see nothing wrong with that. He would have been now he would have had a championship coming off the bench because 2004 Detroit Pistons won a championship, and yeah, it was it 2004 Detroit Pistons won the championship, and they were one of the best defensive teams of all time. I mean, I've seen a lot of good defensive teams in my time, and that was ranked up there. That one season, that one year, that defensive team was holding people to like 70 points. They had, man, that was a good defensive team. They weren't like rich with all stars, but they could put the clamps on people. They put the clamps on Kobe pretty good too. I mean, they could have probably put the clamps on Michael Jordan. Well, who knows? I mean, that's the GOAT. And he would have probably had the clamps put down on him. So, you never know. But yeah, that year Melo was hot. He got picked. Darko Milicic got picked before Carmelo Anthony that year, which to this day was still a robbery. Detroit Pistons could have had Carmelo Anthony. They could have built around Carmelo Anthony, start a franchise around Carmelo Anthony, and instead they chose Darko. Really? You chose Darko? Man, I don't understand what Joe Dumars was even thinking that year, man. But nevertheless, they won the championship 2004. Carmelo Anthony could have had a ring coming off the bench. Like, keep in mind, it will only been a matter of time before they built that team around Carmelo Anthony because he was an all-star material. I mean, he was blossoming into one of the greatest offensive players of all time. He's one of the greatest offensive players in terms of getting his own shot off. So give Carmelo Anthony some respect. Now, I will hold this against him because he did chose money instead of winning. He had chances to go to winning teams. I'm not talking about going to Miami Heat. I'm talking about just flat out winning. He had chances to do that, and he chose money. So he's gonna take the blunt of that blame. I'm not gonna hold back on him from criticizing him on that. He definitely could have won a championship. He could have had two if he stayed with Detroit Pistons. He could have had probably three if he came a free agent and went to like a team like the Bulls. He probably could have competed for three chips. So he had opportunities. Okay. He also had an opportunity in Denver when he was competing against when he was competing against Kobe. Now he got outplayed and beat by Kobe. There's no offense. There's no disrespect in that. I mean, if a guy get his ass kicked by Kobe, you can't get mad at that. Kobe's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. So you're going to have to take that ass beating. Same thing with Jordan. He beat a lot of guys in the 90s. He stopped a lot of guys from winning championships. You're just going to have to take that ass beating. But Carmelo Anthony is 100% right. And Max Kellerman is hating, man. I don't understand with this dude sometimes. But just think of how Carmelo Anthony's career would have turned out. I mean, if he got at least two championships. I mean, he would have had to been a man. Now, keep in mind, a superstar has to be the number one guy on his team and win a championship. You can't come off the bench and get a championship and get full credit for it. It wasn't going to go that way, He would have got championship in his damn near rookie season for basically doing nothing. That would turn out completely different. But look on the flip side to this. If he got drafted by Detroit Pistons, he would have had classic battles with LeBron. Okay? Yeah. And that witness game would have had to come at the expense of guarding with Carmelo Anthony on the floor. You know, remember that witness game where LeBron went off and scored like 25 in overtime, something like that? He would have to do that against Carmelo Anthony. And Carmelo Anthony would have had a championship before LeBron as a role player coming off the bench. So that still wouldn't hurt LeBron's legacy that much because he would have been just drafted to a better situation and a better team. But Carmelo Anthony's completely right on that. But he's also, you also have to take a blunt of the blame, dog, because you cost yourself championships. Period. You had the chance to win championships and you cost yourself that. So nobody else to blame but you on that. But just imagine how you would perceive Carmelo Anthony if he won at least one championship as being the main guy. Because that second year, like keep in mind, in 07, Detroit Pistons went to the finals in 07. And if you had Carmelo Anthony on that squad, he wasn't even, let's just say he wasn't even coming off the bench. He was a starter. He was the man on that team. There's no way in hell the San Antonio Spurs would have beaten the Detroit Pistons with Carmelo Anthony on that team. They would have had too much firepower. You know. No, sorry, it wasn't 07. It was 05. Was it 05? Yeah, 05. I'm bugging. 07 was the year LeBron went to the finals with the Cavs. So 05, a year later, you could have had a chance to two-peat. You would have definitely two-peated if Carmelo Anthony was on that team. He'd have been a two-time champion. His legacy would have been completely different. So, I mean, yeah, this just goes to show you sometimes it goes by the luck of the litter, you know, luck of the draft to get picked certain ways, you know, or picked on certain teams, you know. So winning the championship is a team accomplishment. I keep telling people this. It is, but you still have to be the number one on your team. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you understand the words are coming out of my mouth? You have to be a number one, all right? Meaning the franchise player and win a championship. I understand that you're going to need help. I understand that some people are going to have to bail you out. This is all true. But the way the narrative goes, the way the rankings go, you need to be the number one guy on your team. There's no buts, ifs about it. I don't care what your situation is. I don't care who you say did this for you, did that for you. You need to be the number one. And you need to have a ring on your resume if you want to be competed or compared to the Larry Birds, the Kobe's, the Jordans, the LeBrons, Kevin Durant's now, Steph Curry's. You need a ring. Okay? Got to put a ring on it. If you're a superstar, you need a ring. All right? No buts, ifs about it. I don't care how good you are. If you don't have a championship on your resume will look not as impressive. That's just the way the game of basketball goes. It's a team sport, but dominated by the individual superstar, if that makes sense. Peace.